Today we're going to do an inspection video for International 46, things to look for that be commonly wore out on them. Start in the front here by the U-joints. Always check, make sure they're fairly snug. These are loose. They need to be replaced. The PTO shield needs to have a new lock put on it. The flywheel, there's a seal back here in the front. As you can see, this one here is leaking a little bit. Just check your oil in your gearbox if you don't have time to change the seal. Plunger, make sure the bearings are tight. This one here's got a little bit of play. You get new brass, actually bronze bearings and put in. The U-joints and the feeder fork shaft, because this is all your timings done with the shaft. Make sure both U-joints are good. The pickup head, real critical. That these pivot freely. As you can see down here, my finger's pointing. They got a pivot inside the socket. A lot of the international balers you get when they've been stored outside, these bars don't move freely. See, all the bars move freely in here. And over here, you can also see. You should move freely. If not, it'll pull the hay back down inside the pickup pad. Auger, make sure there's no rough edges on it. The belt in here, the belt is supposed to be twisted inside. This has got a gauge wheel, pin. We'll open up our twine box. This one's missing the chains that support the twine lid up. And in here is your twine tensioners. Make sure your springs aren't broke. They're both in good shape. Here, both springs are in good. We'll close our lid back up. Real important, there's grease fittings down inside here. Make sure you get down inside here, grease the grease fittings. You can get in from the inside and do it. There's grease fitting on the metering wheel, on the pivots of the needle frame. And if you see, make sure all your insulators all the way down are good and not broke. Run the other side. As you can see, this arm's been welded. Make sure the shear bolt here in the top's good. Both knotters are clean. As you can see, these have got small grooves wore into the stationary tucker finger. You can braze those back up or simply just take the rivets off here and replace them. See here, this one's also got a groove wore into it. It doesn't affect it time, but it's good to braze them back up full. Plunger stop, most critical thing on International. You want to save the needles, keep a good spring on here. And make sure it's free. Before you start baling for the year, make sure that's working. Brake pads, as you can see, this is rusty. You want to make sure you got lots of pad, got lots of tension on the brake so the knotters, the needles don't want to creep up in the chamber when you're baling. Shear bolt up here in the feeder forks. Make sure that's good. Make sure your spring's on here. Back a little farther. I'm going to roll the plunger back. There's a grease fitting all the way up in the front, up by the plunger. You see up in there? There's a play in the gearbox and the pin up there a little bit. So that also needs new bushings. Make sure your chain's properly adjusted down in here, next to your plunger pitman. This goes back and drives the pickup head. There's grease fitting on most of the sprockets on these. And the clutches in the front, you take them apart every year, loosen them up a little bit, make sure the clutch slips, the fibers are good, and retension them back down. There's a setting in the book, International book, I don't know it right offhand, but you preset those, so if something grabs, it could slip and it doesn't break anything else. If you got any questions, give me a call. I'm the BALERMAN, 607-846-5959. Have a good day.